Welcome to the Market Mystics podcast, where we discuss what's happening in the cryptosphere and trading on Earth as it is in heaven. Buckle up and huddle on while we dive in and get weird. Here are your hosts, Joshua and Kim.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new week, a new Monday, a new start of something. How are you today, Kim?
I'm great. You know, I love newness. It's like one of
Good.
those things that I really do love. This might be one of the reasons I like innovation. We've talked about this a lot of times on the podcast, but I think it's because I really like newness.
Yeah. There's something beautiful about new. And I mean, there's also something beautiful about old. I was watching a video this morning about Roman concrete and why it's able to last thousands of years and other concrete crumbles sooner. And so, yeah, I think there's something there. I think you can see value in both the new and the old, but there is something so precious, I would say, about new beginnings, new life. Yeah, there's something beautiful in that.
I agree. Let's get into some market updates and then we'll continue this conversation.
Let's do it.
Everything is green today.
Great day.
I just have to tell you, I was looking through the charts and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all these double digits and they're green. We've gotten so used to seeing the double digits being red
Yeah, it's a
that
good
the
time.
newness of this green is on point today. So Bitcoin's up almost 2% over 24 hours, up about 4% over 7 days. It's back over 17,000. We'll see if
Amazing.
it can hang, but it's at 17,263 today. Ethereum is almost up 5% in 24 hours, 10.5% over 7 days, and it's sitting at $1,327. Our biggest
Wow.
mover today, which when I was looking through the charts, I'm like taking notes of all these different ones. Like first it's Cardano. Okay, they have a big move. Oh no, it's Solana. That's bigger. And then it was another one. And I was like, ooh, this one's 30 something percent. This has to be the highest percent. Nope. The number 98 coin, Gala, or GALA, the Gala coin. I don't know how to pronounce the word. I'll just be really honest. I've heard it both ways. I tend to say one way, but then I don't want to isolate myself to that. So Gala is up 55.8% in 24 hours and almost 150% over 7 days.
Wow.
That's a big move.
Yeah.
So it's currently sitting at 4.2 cents per token. But this coin is connected with the decentralized Gala Games ecosystem, and they aspire to blow the doors wide open and give players back the control they deserve. So it's a gaming platform that is built on the blockchain. So through decentralization, players not only own their own in-game items, but they also have a voice in how the game's roadmap develops. And something remarkable about this token, this company, this is what I loved. When I was researching them, I went to their About Us page, and the very first thing they said under their principles is, hang on, I'll just quote it. Oh my gosh, I have to get back up there. So it says our principles, and then it says fund first. And I kind of love that. That's kind of one of our principles too, to be honest. I mean, this is something the Lord brings up over and over with us about not losing the fun in the things that we're doing.
Yeah. That's fun is such a it's one of the first things to go when you get into in my experience, it's one of the first things to go when you get into business or sometimes even like ministry, spiritual stuff. And I'm not saying there isn't a time to be serious, but I don't think it's at the expense of cutting fun all the way out. And it's really kind of, I think it's important in We talked about this, I think, a little bit in when we talked about renewing your mind, but
Mm.
I think it's important in renewing your mind to have that playfulness, to have that fun. And I think about, kids playing, and it is it's very imaginative, it's very new. It is kind of a breaking of the pattern you're in to have fun and to laugh. And I think it's important and to at least have present. It doesn't have to be the only. And I think that's sometimes where these conversations get um, confusing. Is it's like, oh, fun's important, but that doesn't mean fun's important at the cost of all the other things as well.
Right.
I think life is just about trying to appreciate all the different ones and not have seriousness at the cost of fun and not have fun at the cost of seriousness.
Hmm.
There's something to be said for that.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Okay, so let's get back to our other conversation. This isn't horribly unrelated. I feel
No,
like
it's not.
most of the things that we talk about have some common vein, some common thread that really do connect things. But today we wanted to talk a little bit about honor and value.
Mm.
This is actually pertinent to trading as well. Um, but I will tell you, I've been on this journey for quite a while in my faith and with the Lord and seeking Him and learning His ways, I would say
Mhm.
almost. And two of the most important principles that He has been teaching are honor and value. So I don't know if you know this, but honor is kind of the culture of heaven.
Yeah.
Like, this is how He operates. This is how we operate there. This is how Yeshua operates. This is how angels operate. Like, it is the culture. So if you can even just wrap your mind around that concept, then you start seeing how things play out and how to act as a son, how to
Mhm.
represent the Father well. And always it includes honor.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just have this thought coming to mind. Like, I want to clarify, like, honor is not the same in either Kim or I's mind as worship.
Mm,
Um,
true.
and because one of the things we talk about is honoring different angels, honoring different spiritual beings, honoring the earth we live on, honoring each other, and that doesn't mean we worship any of those things.
Right.
We worship the Creator. We worship Yahweh,
All right.
but we can honor them, we can love them, and we can appreciate their role in our life and their role in the created world, without them being our Messiah or our Savior or our God.
That's very true.
Yeah.
The way that value plays into this, though, and this goes along with what you said as well. Um, but when you honor something, even if you don't know how, a lot of times, if you can just look to the thing that you are intending to honor and look for its innate value, even if it's different than what yours is or what your
Yeah.
opinion is of what matters to you, I
Yeah.
suppose. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned has been to step back from myself and my own perspective and look at someone or something for its innate value. Like, why was this person created? What are the strengths that they have? What is the value that the Father has given them? And when you can step back from yourself and look from the perspective of what is the value that the Father sees in someone, it is impossible not to honor them. It is impossible not to love them.
Mhm.
And that is such a valuable tool
Yeah.
in this world where I mean, even in the church where we've been taught to divide, like if this person doesn't believe the same as you, if they don't practice the same as you, if they don't look the same as you, if they don't talk the same as you, if they don't worship the same as you, then they're not valuable. You divide, you go your separate ways, those kinds of things. But in this place where you are united with the Father and honor and value all of his creation, those things are so important, because when you can see that from his perspective, and why wouldn't he allow it? He's the Father. He can allow it in you. You just have to ask. I'm telling you, it is so uniting. And it is so refreshing to be able to honor somebody who's different than you for those things that are different.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a couple years ago, uh, Father challenged me to start looking at people the way he does. And it was interesting because it's easy to do that with people who you're on good terms with or you like to be around. It's like, oh, I can see this is like these are aspects of how you were created, and this is how Yahweh works through you. And it's, you can point those things out, and it's like a pleasure to see it in them. But then when you start to have like a challenging situation at work and you're like, oh wait, okay, I'm supposed to look at this person through Yahweh's eyes. Or, work is challenging. I would say family is even harder. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
people you're familiar with is even harder to do that, because the areas where they haven't done that, or they've fallen short of their total potential. But then to step back and ask Father, okay, how do you see this person? And to look at them like that, it's such a it changes your perspective. It changes your perspective. And
Mm-hmm.
we talk about perspective a lot, but shifting from an earthly perspective to a heavenly perspective, and shifting the way you're viewing things to Yahweh's point of view, it just changes life. It changes the way you interact with everybody. It changes the way you it changes the way you trade. It changes the way that you trade with other people. I mean, Kim and I have talked about this for a year, that everything we do is a trade.
Mm.
If I'm walking somewhere, I'm trading energy for motion. And it's if we're having a conversation, we're trading knowledge, we're trading time, we're trading energy with each other. Everything that you do, if you eat, you're trading one resource for another resource. Like, it's just, life is a consistent trade. And what kind of the root of what we want to talk about is how you change the value of what you're trading,
Mm-hmm.
and not see it from quite as much of a consumption. So if I'm trading, even if I'm trading cryptocurrency, if I'm trading Bitcoin, am I trading it purely for gain? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with gain. If I'm trading with another person, am I, am I trying to trade as little as I can for as much as they can give me? And that's kind of the way a lot of people approach life, is how can I maximize what I receive by giving as little as possible? And in some situations, that's very beneficial. What would like to challenge our listeners in is changing the way you value things, so that you don't see it from such a finite, limited resource, but an infinite resource that comes from Yahweh. And when you trade happily, you trade generously. And, I'm not encouraging I don't know, mindless like financial trading where you make bad trades and lose all your money. But especially when you're trading with other people, when you're trading your time, your skills, your resources, your knowledge with other people, to not view it as a finite, if I give this, then I don't have it anymore mindset, but rather an infinite mindset. And to remember that it is a trade. And in a trade, you always receive something in return.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a trade is an exchange of one thing that holds value for another thing that holds something that is fairly equivalent, right?
Hmm.
And I think a lot of times we look at trading as something that we do only for personal gain.
Yeah.
However, when we have that ability to kind of take a step back and not look at things only for ourselves, then we start to be able to see value in things a bit more, and we can honor people and things and trades for what they are, as opposed to just what is the benefit for me. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I think about often, I was just having this conversation. I think I've had this conversation 3 times in the last 4 days. I was talking about, I am not a vegan. I'm just going to say this first. I'm not a vegan. However, sometimes there are things that bother me about how um, animals are kind of mass produced
Mhm.
as a commodity just to be used as food, when there is actually a life there. You know what I mean? So there is a way of eating where you eat everything you want. It is consumption. I'm full. I got what I needed. Thank you, Lord. But there's also a way of valuing the life that went in to this nourishment for your body so that you can have life. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? And we talk about this all the time. I feel like this is one of the things we say the most. The outcome, like you may wind up with the same end result, a full belly, but the way that you go about it is completely different. So you're either in like this consumerism thing where you're looking for personal gain, and it is very like narrowed, dialed in on self, I would say. Or you can take the broader perspective and honor what went into you having this thing, or you consuming this thing, or you being able to do this thing, or whatever it may be. There's just a mind shift there. And it's really, I would call it a posture almost. And what happens when you are able to operate in honor and recognizing the value of different things, I think you wind up having a more fulfilling life, and you wind up being able to connect more with people. And I mean, other things, I think you wind up operating more like your creator. And so you will look like him, but you will also become closer to him
Yeah.
if you honor in that way. Maybe I'm going too far in saying that, but there's a benefit in stepping into that culture.
Hmm. Yeah. It's really hard to argue against a culture of honor.
Mhm.
And I know it's something that both of us value in our lives, is how do we grow in that? You know, it's something we value. I'm not going to say it's something we always execute
Perfectly.
amazingly. Yeah,
No.
but it is a value in our lives and something that we are pushing forward to see more of in our life.
Mhm.
And I think that it's such a beautiful thing to begin to honor your creator and honor the other people around you, honor your finances, honor your friends, honor your family. I mean, it's one of the 10 commandments. And it's just it's a beautiful thing to really step into honor and shift your understanding of what is valuable through that process of honoring.
Hmm. Absolutely. Um, I would also just, if I'm going to add one more thing, I would say, mm, stepping into that, into honor and looking for value doesn't have to take away from your own value. I would
Mm,
say it actually
yeah,
adds to it.
yeah.
And doing something out of honor, um, it doesn't have to cost you something. You know what I
Mm,
mean? It doesn't have to push you down to raise someone else up. I think about I I was one of those people who did a little bit of shopping on Christmas Eve, which is like a wild day in stores.
mhm,
And I went to two different stores, but every store, the checkout person was like looking overwhelmed and
mm,
miserable. And on I mean, I do this typically wherever I go, but especially that day, I was trying to be super intentional about honoring them for giving up their time so that people like me could come in and get the things I needed last minute. Like I'm recognizing I see your sacrifice and I appreciate you being here. Like it
mhm,
matters. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I will tell you, it wasn't like some big long conversation. It was just really as simple as that. And it changed their demeanor.
yeah,
Like people who are like crabby and like, and then they're like, wow, thank you. That actually
mhm,
means something to me. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it cost me nothing. Nothing. I was already there. I was already having some sort of an exchange with this person. So to just infuse a little bit of honor and recognize their value themselves as not just somebody to serve me, but someone who actually has a life as well.
mm.
It, a small shift can make a big change. That's what I would say.
That's very true. You're talking about that, and I'm remembering my childhood when a lot of shopping was done in stores and not on Amazon.
Mm,
Uh, my mom used to take candy canes and she would wrap $1 or maybe a $5 bill around the candy canes, like not a lot, but a few. And when we would go into stores from probably Thanksgiving to Christmas, and not every store, but especially, if we were Christmas shopping, she would give one of those candy canes to the cashier. And it would have the same impact that you're
mm,
talking about. Just thanking them for being there, seeing their value, seeing the trade that they're giving, like that honoring system, it has a huge impact in that person's life. And like I can't tell you, like I've seen people cry, I've seen people
mm.
like be so confused, I've seen people be happy. And it's a simple act, but it is a shift in value. Like it is a taking your eyes off of self, taking your eyes off of only drawing things to you, like only seeing the value that you can get out of it, but actually, just doing something small, whether it's like you did, just thanking them for their time and thanking them for being there, or it's giving them a small like thank you gift for their time, like whatever it may be. It doesn't have to cost you any physical money, or you could choose to, depends on what you want to do in the moment. But like it is wildly impactful for that person. Like I would imagine that that person went home and like told their family, like when they were like their spouse, like, oh, how was work today, honey? Like that one interaction could have changed their perspective on the entire day.
Mm.
It's possible. And I think it's important to not overlook the potential that we have to create change in the lives of those around us.
So true. So true. Can you imagine if you would just make eye contact and smile at the homeless guy standing on the corner asking for
Mm,
money, even if you don't have money for them. You know how people just walk by and like try not to make eye contact because if I don't see them, then they don't see me, and I'm not obligated to do anything. What if
yeah.
you just acknowledge them as a human?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that you have to give them money. Like I walk around without cash in my wallet. You know what I mean? But I
Hmm.
can still acknowledge a person
Yeah.
and honor that they are a human being.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
there's the story in the Bible. I want to say it's maybe Peter and James. Not sure. But they're walking by one of the city gates and there's a beggar and they say, I don't have gold or silver to give you, but I can give you life. Um, that may not be the exact words they use, but like, it's they're sharing the resources in their heart to create change. And yeah, I just think that principle of acknowledging that other people are human and other people are valuable it's a step in learning to live in a culture of honor. And I would just encourage people as we have started a new 12 months that you start to practice honor with those around you and yeah, start to ask Father to allow you to see people through his eyes.
That might blow your mind. Just
It might, yeah, and
here's the here's
yeah,
the
you don't have to
forewarning.
start with everybody, just one person at a time.
Right. But even that might blow your mind. I
It's true.
I had a friend once that the father did this with me with like he just let me see him through his eyes. And I walked around all freaking weepy, like oogly, googly eyes with this person for a week
Mm,
because I could not get over the immense amount of love and value and like seeing what the father saw in this person.
yeah.
And it shifted, like it changed the way I saw this person. And they were already my friend, but it's different.
Mm, very true.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Hopefully you're all saying challenge accepted.
Take the honor challenge. I like it.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Thank you guys for joining us today. We'll see you soon.
See ya. Thank you for listening. Join us every Monday and Thursday as we discuss trading on earth as it is in heaven. If you want to connect further, follow us on social media at market.mystics for Instagram and TikTok, and search for Market Mystics on YouTube and Facebook. If you still need more, follow the link on Facebook to book a coaching appointment. Until next time, see ya.